Well, we're going to have a cigar day today. That's what we doing. That's what we're going to be doing today. Let me grab my stuff. We're going to sit down. Boy, do I got some stuff to tell y'all. I got some stuff to tell y'all. I really do. It's been a wild day, gotta say. Where is it? Oh, there we go. That's what I need. Yes. Now get this right. I just got super chats. See, now I got a super chat icon. That means I can get I can get super chats now. That's new. That's brand spanking new. What else? Yeah, I got some stuff to tell you. But we're not there yet. We gotta first. We're gonna make our drink, and then I'll tell you stuff. Sorry, let me share what's happening here. There we go. Okay. I just went shopping. Got lots of food. All right. Okay. All right, we got that. Where is my cigar? Okay, let's have one. I gotta buy another box. Hopefully it won't be too expensive by the time I need a box. I feel like it will be more expensive because, man, dude, these Trump tariffs, they are not going to be fun. Let's be honest. They're not going to be good. I mean, does anybody really think we're just going to be A-okay from this? No, bro, we're going to have some COVID-like supply shocks. All right, hold on. Let's see here. Let's cut it here. Jack says, I love the Trump tariffs when I buy from a nation that we have a trade surplus in. Yeah, that's, well, that's a problem, isn't it? That's a problem. All right. I mean, here, okay, so I got some stuff to tell you. So let me sit outside and I'll tell you all about it. Hang tight. Look at all the pretty flowers. It's coming from that one oleander. It's just got so much flowers on it. I'm gonna get the umbrella out. Fifko says, yo, what's up, Fifko? How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me, oh, I forgot. We're just gonna put that down a bit so that way it covers me nicely. All right, that's fine, I guess. Fifko says, by the way, can you get monetized? I am monetized. I just got monetized. I got approved just recently. So I am fully monetized, which means we can all piss off Alex Stein when I eventually get $100 super chat. Because, I mean, it's only a matter of time before, like, where somebody actually donates $100 super chat, dude, I will tweet him. I will tweet Alex Stein directly. I said, guess who got $100 super chat? Jack says, has Alex Stein spoken publicly since the debate? No, dude. He has not. He has not talked about it. I've not seen any activity on his YouTube channel. I think it got burned. I do. I think he got burned a little bit. He's like, I'm going to lay low for a little bit. Okay. So, I think I'm going to pull out of the stock market. Yeah. I think so. I don't know if you've noticed. M says, is that a weed cigar? No. This is just tobacco. Just tobacco. With that being said, don't smoke. This is not an advocation for smoking. Don't smoke. I simply enjoy it personally, but that's about it, okay? Don't smoke. Okay, so here's the thing. It was all over Twitter. People were talking about how the ports are empty. Whoa, wibble wobble. Wibble, wait! Wait, what? No freaking way! No way! Bruh! I'm screenshotting that! Holy crap, let me, oh my god, that is hilarious! Bruh! I just screenshotted that, let's go! Holy crap! Thank you, Wibble Wobble, thank you, that is wild! I wasn't expecting it to go that fast! Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Oh my god. Check my YouTube channel. Look for the notification server. That's wild. But yes, I agree with you. Alex Stein, that dude's a real... he sucks, man. He's a terrible person. I cannot believe this is my first try into it with super chats, and right away like no one donated even $5. They were just one dude is like, all right, $100. Oh my god, dude, I'm gonna rub that in his face as soon as I get on my computer. No way. Holy crap. Wow, I'm gonna rub that in his face. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna download this video. And then I'm gonna have it with the short where he's like, you'll never get $100 super chat. You'll never get $100 super chat. Well, guess what? We got one. Oh my god. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That is freaking top tier. That is top. And then I'm gonna send it to his Twitter. I was like, hey, yo, what happened to that $100 super chat thing you were saying? That is wild. Thank you very much, Wibble. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. That is hilarious. We're going to be talking about that for like a week. You just made my week. All right. All right. So I wanted to talk to y'all, right? There's a lot of stuff. There was a giant investment corporation. Like they have, what is it? They have like, there's a giant investment corporation where I think it's like over $300 billion is their like net worth. And they were pointing out that we're going to see a recession time come by summer of 2025. He says there's roughly a 20 to 40 day travel time from China to the United States on those big freight ships. And so we're going to start seeing within the next 2 to 3 weeks a sudden shortage of products on shelves. Next 2 to 3 weeks. And this will, of course, negatively impact everyone's life. It's going to negatively impact the... Francis says, hi. Hello. How you doing? Bro, I'm just amazed at that $100 super chat. Thank you, bro. Thank you. You did not have to do that. That is amazing. We are absolutely, I'm going to put that to good use and I'm going to rub it in his face, right? I said to myself, I'm not going to tell any of my friends, hey, donate to this donate $100 super. I'm like, I'm going to earn it. I want to earn a $100 super chat. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Anyway, so I have some money in the stock market. Not a lot. I'm not like a millionaire or anything, but I have money in the stock market. And honestly, hearing the idea that store shelves are going to be empty, bro, empty. I have to acknowledge that, like, this is a problem. And if store shelves are empty, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are just going to not have, there's not going to be any profit. You're going to see a lot of trucking companies that are going to suddenly lose a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of layoffs in trucking as well. Because currently right now, the way that it's going is that there's just a lot less stuff that's showing up, and you're just going to have a lot less orders for trucking, and you're going to have layoffs of a lot of truckers. Penguin says, how dare you challenge the status quo? Also, cigars suck. Weed is better. Listen, weed and me don't pair well. Like, okay, let me try to explain it, right? One thing is I have an appetite. I got a real appetite. Like, if I do not watch what I eat, I turn into a balloon very fast, right? I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm telling you, I can eat, okay? I will eat the worst stuff ever. I will have an eating disorder if I just stopped watching what I ate. So having the munchies, that's already bad. The second thing that's really bad is that I can barely function when I'm smoking. Like, I don't know what this feeling is, but I only get it whenever it either happens when I'm dehydrated, like badly, or if, I'm just smoking weed. But basically it works like this. And I don't know how to explain it because it's weird. It's a weird feeling. When you're standing in a location, things feel like far away, even though you're like really close to it. And like moving from one spot to another is like, it feels like you're like transporting a really long distance. And I don't like that feeling, man. I really don't, because I'm just like, why is it like this? I don't like, it's not a good feeling. So there is like a homeostasis to my, like if I ever do try any, like if I have a tiny amount, I'm all right. I get a little hungry and it's okay. But then if I, anywhere past that, I get that weird feeling where it's like, man, if I move, it'll be like really far away. And how do I explain this? Do you get this feeling? Am I the only one that gets that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, let's see here. Wibble Wobble says, I think that there will be a requirement for English proficiency for truckers proposed. Well, the problem is that when there's a lot less, I mean, right now already the ports into the United States, like all of those boxes, they're just not there right now. Right now, as we speak, if you look at any of the major ports, the largest ports in the United States, they are almost empty. There's barely any left. Normally, there's like a queue. There's like a giant queue of these giant boats. They're really big boats, and they have these boxes stacked up. 9, 10 of these boxcar boxed up, ready to go. And there's none of that right now. None. So I know you haven't felt it, at least not yet, but we're right on the cusp. We're at the moment where you're going to see all of your retail chains. You're going to see your basic products. All of that, a lot of products are just going to be missing. And you're going to be looking at, it's going to look like a Cuban grocery store. Dr. Penguin says, I've been there with a feeling of lethargic and unmotivated, but depending on the weed, THC makes me uppity and happy. THCO makes me goofy. HHC makes me energized. Delta 8 and 10 make me feel up there and chill. Anonymous says, hello. Dr. Penguin says, Amender, do you support weed legalization? Yes, 100%. 100%. Me, myself, I don't really smoke. I don't really smoke weed. Rain says, would you debate Steve-O? I'd probably have a conversation with Steve-O. How would I debate him? Why would he debate me? Like, come on, he's not going to debate me. That would be cool, though. I mean, if he wanted to debate, like maybe we disagree on something, I would love to debate Steve-O. But I doubt he more than like if I ever met Steve-O and it would probably be more like a conversation than it would be a debate. We would just sit down and I don't know, just talk, I guess. It's Dr. Penguin says, what age should you be allowed to use weed or weed product? I think 18. That's good. Flashy, you missed it. You missed it. A user Wibble Wobble, he donated $101 to my super chat. I'm clipping that, and it's going straight to Alex Stein. That's absolutely what's going to happen. I'm going to tweet that straight to Alex Stein. That is so funny. Dr. Penguin says, do you think weed should be taxed as a form of revenue for the government? 100%. 100%. I think that would be really good. Regulating the industry, pull money away from the cartel, end the drug war, less people in prison. My God, what's not to love? Fristaz says, tariffs, logistics, supply chain issues. What's next? Biological determinism? Didn't Alex Stein say that was make believe? I was like, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. Out of everything that guy said in that debate, hands down, the dumbest thing he said was biological determinism is fake. I wanted to say, I was like, I'm sorry, do you have brown hair? Do I have blue eyes? Can you tell? No, but thank you, Wibble Wobble. That is wild. Anonymous says, First Amendment just outdone Alex. $101 dono. W, let's go. I think anytime I ever get like $100 dono, it's just going, I'm just gonna message. I'm just gonna message him. Let's see here. Frista says, yeah, he said, what? Biological determinism? Are we just making up words now? Yeah, I mean, the guy, he couldn't even, there was a word that he was having a hard time even pronouncing. And it was like a really basic word. I'm like, this guy's an actual idiot. He actually has no idea what's going on. Douglas Gutsky says, Gutsky says, what cigar are you smoking? This is a My Father Garcia called The Judge. Fabulous cigar, highly recommended. But with that being said, don't smoke. Smoking's bad. I'm saying if you already enjoy a cigar, this is not a bad cigar. But if you don't take it up as a habit, okay? Base Got Flashy says, the main U.S. ports receiving Chinese freight and other Asian trade is down 29% week over week. According to a port optimizer, a tracking system for ships, year over year, the data shows a 44% drop in vessels scheduled to arrive the week of May 4th to May 10th. And that's CNBC. Yes, that's exactly what I saw as well. And, Douglas says, I love smoking. I'm 31, so you're good. All right, sick. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I really enjoy it. I don't think I've ever given this cigar to somebody and they not like it. So, I mean, I would give it a shot. It's a My Father Garcia, The Judge. Fabulous cigar. Let's see. Rain says, I like Nicaraguan. Me too. I've had a few Cubans here and there. Not plenty. I've had a few. And let me just say, the Nicaraguans really do push the boundary a bit. I mean, a lot of people think that it's like, oh, the Cubans, that's the best cigar. And it's like, Nicaraguans been kind of up in their game. They've been like really showing, hey, we got some good cigars. I'm very afraid what my next box of cigars is going to cost. I'm terrified because that thing, I don't know, what's it going to be, like $400 for a box? Anonymous says, you should meet David Jeff. He's the creator of Twisted Metal 2. And I heard he does debates now. So I don't know his political views though. Dude, I would love to talk about that. Absolutely. Dr. Penguin says, are you drinking alcohol on a Monday, bruh? This is the drink I'm having today. I mean, if you think this is what makes me drunk, man, you got another thing coming. Amanda Thomas says, hey, Amanda. How you doing, Amanda? How's it going? I could not believe it. You missed it, Amanda. Wibble Wobble just donated $101 dono just so we could spite Alex Stein. That was sick, dude. That was a big W. Douglas Gutsky says, I feel like Cuban cigars are Streisand famous. We did an embargo and then they became super popular in media. Here's the thing, man. Cuban cigars, they really are very good. They are good. With that being said, I mean, I've had Cubans, and I guess the problem that I've had with Cubans is that number one, it's total mixed bag as to whether or not it's going to be good or not. You have to understand that in order to have a Cuban here in the United States, that's crossing a lot of hands, right? That's crossing a lot of people, and they don't store them correctly. And so by the time you get a hold of them, what do you got? You got this What? You're just, it could be dry, it could be too wet, it could be too old. It may not be a good cigar by the time you smoke it. And my curiosity is, man, I wonder if I went to Cuba and I just had the cigar like right there, would it be different? I guarantee you it's got to be different, because I mean, any of them I have here, I mean, they've just gone through so many hands and they're kind of, you know, wrinkled up and not great looking. Base Got Flashy says, if only you had a mouthful of jelly beans. I don't understand why that even pissed him off. I mean, I'm just sitting there, just... Here's what I usually do when I eat jelly beans. I have 2 jelly beans, and I just pick 2 random ones, and I just put them in my mouth, because then you get like an interesting flavor every single time, and it's different every time. Wibble Wobble says, gotta go, have a good stream. Thank you, Wibble. Wibble, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because you're gonna see that I'm gonna ping Alex Stein on Twitter and say, hey, guess what? I got $100 super chat. Now what? Breaking the Habit says no cigar. Well, your name lives up. Amanda Thomas says that's a good idea to do. I completely agree. Yeah, we're gonna let them know. We're gonna be like, hey, dude, check it out. I just got YouTube partner, and I got my first dono was $100 super chat, $101 super chat. Now what? Now what you got? Now what? That was sick, dude. Sick. Base Got Flashy says, you eat jelly beans like I eat Red Hots. I love them. I just love them. I love, and here's the thing, right? You can't just get any jelly bean. You got to get one. It's the Jelly Bellies. That's the any other jelly bean. It's not. It just doesn't. It doesn't hit the same, man. Jelly Belly, they're really like next level when it comes to like their procurement of jelly beans. Like, it's very clear to me. There's like, yeah, we got to hit the Jelly Bellies. Amanda Thomas says that'll be funny for sure. Absolutely, dude. As soon as I'm done with this stream, I'm gonna hop upstairs and I'm gonna rip my video, and I'm gonna put the short I have, right? Rain says stop. You are making me want them. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jelly Belly is they'll secretly watch my YouTube channel, and like and then my first sponsorship will be Jelly Belly, or maybe it'll be a cigar company. That would be so cool. The My Father company, they're just like, this guy's smoking our cigars. No, honestly though, I don't think the cigar company would want me to sponsor, because they'd be like, no, you're too liberal, our clientele is conservative. Frista says, not that anyone cares, but it would be astronomical that Alex Stein was struggling to say. I just asked my 10-year-old to spell it, and she spelled it correctly. That gives you his level of education. I mean, like, I could sit there, read these scientific papers, like, and I can say the very complex words very quickly. Like, I'll even be like reading it fast for you, you know, like epistemological is not going to stop me, right? Like, what was it? I'm trying to remember the exact word that he just couldn't say. I think it started with an A. It's a really common word. I was like, why is he having a hard time trying to say this word? I think one of them was like endocrinological. Fair enough, it's a relatively complicated word, but like, if you are here to debate me regarding like trans topics or trans issues, maybe show that you're read on the topic, right? And don't act like that this is the first time you've ever read the word endocrinological. Like, he was like, endocrinology society. And I'm just like, all right, bro, dude, this guy doesn't read anything. Anatomical, yeah, that's so true. That's what it was. It was anatomical. Why is anatomical so difficult for him to say? Anatomical. It's like a fifth grader's word. He couldn't. He struggled like 3 or 4 times trying to say it. Sear the Canadian Proud said, "What are you up to, troublemaker?" Oh, I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna send Alex Stein proof that I received $100 super chat today. Sorry, $101. 101, right? We got to get that one in there because we got to one up Alex Stein. Amanda Thomas says, yeah, you just sound that one out. Yeah, Amanda, like, is your first language English? I'm pretty, like, I'm pretty sure that you speak Urdu. And so it's like, if you just read it, you probably would have done a better job sounding it out than Alex Stein himself. Like, bro, it's your second language and you're schooling this guy. Can he even speak another language? To be fair, I'm able to speak Spanish in like a broken way. Like, sí, yo puedo hablar castellano, pero es como rompió. You know, like it's like broken. My Spanish is broken. Like, there's a lot of like words that I don't know how to say, or like there will be specific ways to kind of like phrase it that it just doesn't match up, you know, with like what I'm trying to say. And it's kind of similar to kind of like how Borat speaks English. It's about that, right? So it's like, can I get around? Yeah. Can I order food? Yeah. Can I effectively communicate what I want? Yeah. Do I sound eloquent? No. I don't sound educated either when I speak Spanish. I just sound, I can't even say things like past tense or future tense. It's all present tense. So like, if like, oye, por favor, yo quiero un cerveza. Like, I don't know how to say I wanted a beer, right? I could say I want a beer, but I don't know how to say I wanted a beer, right? Like something in the past, for example. Sarah, the Canadian Proud, said, your Spanish is not the only thing that is broken, my friend. Are you talking about my hair? Is my hair broken? Do I have I got that widow's peak. Look at that. I don't know. Should I grow my hair out? Maybe I should grow my hair out. What's that one super popular streamer that grew his hair out? I'm trying to remember his name. Starts with an M. He's got long hair. He's very popular. I'm trying to remember his name. Frista says, I'm quadrilingual and none of them are useful living in the States. Jeez. You find a lot of people that are like tri or quadrilingual. It's usually in like European countries. Like, because you're surrounded by other countries that speak different languages. That and your education system isn't terrible. So yeah, you just have a better, yeah. Hawaiian CC says, aloha. Hello, Hawaiian. How you doing? Glad you're here. You missed the part where I'm going to be, later on, I'm going to be rubbing into Alex Stein's face the fact that I got a $101 super chat. Because according to Alex Stein, he was like, you'll never get a $100 super chat. You'll never get a $100 super chat. I'm going to be like, you're right. I could never get a $100 super chat. But I did get a $101 super chat. Charlie White, the streamer with long hair. I'm trying to remember the name. No, it wasn't Charlie White. What's his name? He's got kind of a monotone voice, and he usually just has like reaction video, like very, very low, like attention reaction videos. I mean, he says some funny commentary, fair enough. What's his name? Amanda Thomas says, I want to learn Greek. Greek is definitely one of those really cool languages out there. I mean, it's also very limited, I guess. Like, you're kind of just limited to just, well, Greek people. I feel like with English, you can like go to a lot of different countries and they will speak English. I also think that's also probably the case in many different Asian countries with Mandarin, right? I mean, like if I would venture to say, like if I went to Japan, I wonder how many people would speak Mandarin versus how many people would speak English. Base Got Flashy says, I love Charlie. He's hilarious. He's also center left. I don't know who you're talking about. I'll have to check him out. I don't usually watch streamers. Very limited. Like most of what I watch is like AP and Reuters, and there's PBS News that I listen to in the morning. That and audiobooks. That's usually what I follow. Hawaiian says, I can speak native Hawaiian, Pidgin, which is a Creole dialect, and I guess regular English, not useful outside of Hawaii. That's interesting. Rain says he is the streamer that goes, woo, in the meme. I actually don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure, but I bet you if I like looked it up, I'd be like, oh, I know this. I know this guy. I just don't have my computer in front of me. I'm sorry. Oh. Fristas says, Charlie White is the monotone reaction stranger you're talking about. His channel is Penguin Zero. He also goes by Moist Critical. That's his name. Yes, Moist Critical. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, he talks kind of like this. I don't know. I can't do it. But he has like a very monotone voice. But I mean, he's got good commentary, so, you know, people like him. Anyway, what I was saying is, what if I did my hair long like Moist Critical? Since I'm no longer going into the office, I might actually be able to get away with long hair. David H. says, hey, yo, how's it going? David, you missed it. You missed it. I just got donated a $101 super chat by Wibble Wobble, which means we're going to be clipping this and then we're going to immediately send it off to Alex Stein, who said that I would never get a $100 super chat. David H says, wow, legends in chat. Absolutely, we got legends, total legend. Rain says, I guess you don't know that Charlie debated on trans validity too then. Wait, did he actually like debate in favor of trans people? I immediately like Moist Critical a lot more if he's debating in favor of trans people. Frista says, dreads or bust? Dreads? Look at my hair. Do you think I could do dreads? How could I do dreads? Is that even possible? Like if I just did this over and over? Like, I mean, is that the dread? Sayer says, how did you hit the watch hours? I am nowhere close, and I have more subs. I mean, I never really had a problem with the watch hours. It was just kind of like, I would just stream for 4 hours or whatever. And, you know, I streamed on Modern Day Debate. So I would imagine, I mean, people would just watch for a long period of time. And so I hit 4,000 hours pretty easy. I knew that was not going to be a problem, but, The 500 subs, I knew that was difficult. I was like, I mean, heck, I was just like, yeah, I got 1 sub, and that was it. Flashy says, yeah, he did. He got a lot of crap on it on Twitter for it too, which was bizarre considering his debate opponent thought it was okay for teens to date adults. Ew. That's what I mean, man. Like the morality of these people is not great. Like, when you're like okay with like people coming to an informed conclusion with the assistance of their parent, that's not okay. But like, I don't know, child marriage, that for whatever reason is okay. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously there's also the fact that right-wingers, they commonly like to push back against things like food stamps, which empirically helps millions of children. And we're going to act like, and it feeds children too, and we're going to act like, yeah, that's not we want to go ahead and keep doing that, like not have food stamps. Like, obviously you don't care about a human life. Rain says, I hate modern day debate. So here's the thing, right? Modern day debate is totally surrounded by tons and tons of just like hateful right-wing people, right? And they legitimately want harm on people. And so I think if there's enough left-wingers or people that are like more centrist leaning that have enough gumption to stick around, right? Just plow through the harassment, we might in the future, in a long time from now, shift that Overton window. Frista says, the problem I have with food stamps and those forms of government assistance is I personally know people who don't improve their life because they'll lose the benefits and they can't out-earn what they're getting in government aid. That's true. That happens. I mean, at the same time, you have to imagine just how many people that's helping, and you also have to imagine how many people don't do crime because their kids are fed, and how much better, like nutrition-wise, those kids are because they actually have food availability. They're not like necessarily food insecure. You're talking about millions and millions of people. So that's really, really beneficial. Like the benefits far outweigh the negatives, but I agree with you, that is a negative. Sarah says, but I like to confuse people by being a progressive conservative, and modern day debate is a good place to educate. That's cool. That's cool. Though I'm curious as to your exact positions, being a progressive conservative. I'm curious how you, like, I would imagine you probably mean being fiscally conservative, but like being okay with like progressive social safety nets. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what a progressive conservative would be. Base got flashy says, I got kicked off of Medicaid as soon as they found out that I got a $10 job. Are you saying a $10 an hour job? They would kick you off of Medicaid if you have a $10 an hour job? Jeez. Frista says, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-help. I just think that it needs to be structured in a way that encourages and uplifts self-skilling and improve rather than dependency. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're not anti-help. Fair enough. Yes, I agree with you. I think that's a thing that we can look at. But just so you're aware, currently in the current position that it is in, food stamps is one of the most beneficial programs that we have ever created. It shows more benefit, and actually it makes the government money to have food stamps, because if people don't have enough money for food, then what happens is people steal. And when people steal, cops got to come take you away. And then they're basically spending a lot of money on the court system, putting you in jail, then it is just feeding you. You know, I mean, and it works. It shows that it works. Sarah says, you have spoke with me on MDD. I am Searcat. You know my strange ways, kind of. Did I speak with you? Were we debate partners or debate opponents? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember all the people that I debated. I debated Rob Noer, Alex Stein, of course, the guy from the Crucible, what's his name? Andrew Wilson. Yeah, Andrew Wilson. And apparently this Wednesday I'm supposed to be debating Rachel Wilson on whether or not contemporary feminism is helping or harming women. Which, by the way, I just want to point out, she's mathematically incorrect. At best, she's mathematically incorrect. Flashy says, I'm closer to a conservative progressive. In my personal life, I'm more socially conservative, but very economically progressive, and I let others live how they want to live as long as it doesn't hurt others. Yeah, I mean, we're in agreement there. No One Must Know says, can we really consider Alex Stein a debater? Have you read Rachel's book for your debate this Wednesday? Seems like a good prep. I did. Several weeks ago. I was ready to debate her, and on the day that I showed up to debate her, she canceled within about, I don't know, an hour prior to the debate. Sarah says, no, in chat, on Modern Day Debate, I defended your opinion a couple of times, but also opposed you a bit. Fair enough. No One Must Know says, clearly scared. So I had that same thought, and so I messaged, James on it, and they said, no, they actually have a legitimate medical condition, right? That's very debilitating, and they can't join. And they have proven so as well by saying they're not even streaming themselves. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. Sayer says, Alex Stein is a fourth grader, not a debater. Completely agree with you. I mean, hell, I don't even, do you think, Andrew Wilson's, a debater as well? Do you think he's a debater? Because I watched that Andrew Wilson debate, 3 or 4 times. Just listening to it carefully. And I didn't catch it in the moment. I really wish I did, because it would have made my position look stronger. But he took a valid and sound syllogism and he changed what was being said in the syllogism with a different taxonomic classification, and was like, see, your argument is sound, but it's not valid. Or I'm sorry, I don't know if it's the other, anyway. It's sound, but it's not valid. But he didn't actually address my syllogism. He addressed a straw man of my syllogism. It was like a straw man into a false equivalency. And he just proclaimed that he won the debate. And everybody was like, Amender, you lost that debate. You lost. And I'm just like, but that was his whole argument, is that he didn't address my syllogism at all. He just hyperbolized the syllogism into something it wasn't, and then said that my argument was valid but not sound. Amanda Thomas says, who would you love to debate, Amender? Somebody pointed out somebody that I should debate that I think would be really fun. Kent Hovind would be really funny. No One Must Know says, gotta debate Andrew again. Show him who's boss. Honestly, I kind of want to just go on the Crucible and be like, come on, let's debate. Let me on. Let's debate. I want to debate you. See here. I'm trying to think who I would really want to debate. Who's the one guy where he's like, prove me wrong? And he goes to like colleges and says, prove me wrong. What's his name? I would like to debate him. That'd be a good one. Frista says, I want to see you debate Alex Jones. I would love that. Are you kidding? God, that would be incredible. I'd be like, I debated Alex Jones. Now what? It's so funny though, like one of the things that people use to insult me, they say, now I see why you have, 500 subs. But like, think about it, right? Like, I think it was only like a couple of months ago, I had 200 subs. I was sitting there looking at old tweets that I was doing, and I was like, man, it was only a few months ago where I just had 200 subs. So it's like, it's climbing. And here's the thing, when you start getting like larger, like when you start, you got 15, 20,000 subs, people really, they'll sub to you because they'll be like, there's something with this guy where he's like, he's got a decent sub count, and so I'm going to subscribe. So I think there's like a kind of like a wall that you got to push up against. And the question is whether or not you're willing to like do the grind. And when I first started, I was just kind of like, I got to do this. But then as I've continued, I've actually started to enjoy the process of like editing and making videos and making something compelling and interesting to watch. Sayer says, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro would be a great debate, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I am not equipped to handle somebody as educated as Ben Shapiro. That's the same thing with Jordan Peterson. Like, they're wrong, but they would just make a fool out of me, no problem, because I don't have like a doctorate, I have a bachelor's degree in management of information systems. It's just I'm a computer nerd. That's all it is. And so like, you get people like heck, even Destiny, when it came to like debating Jordan Peterson, Destiny was nervous. You could see it in his debate with Jordan Peterson. And it's like, that's where you start to realize that it's like, okay, this guy is very educated, right? They have a doctorate in their field of study, and so their ability of debate is probably going to be a step ahead of most people. And so like me, where I'm just like, I don't know, I guess informally debating people, maybe I'm not the best, person for something like that. I don't know, maybe in the future. Somebody told me that I needed to read a book, something regarding argumenting. I need to see that. Sayer says, that would be fun to see you versus Ben. Listen, if Ben Shapiro said, hey, I want to debate you, I would, easily. Sayer says, Peterson's easy to beat. Long time ago, UOFC beat his arse, and I am a brick. Rain says, I want to see you debate Noam Chomsky. Holy crap. That guy is like 90. What am I going to do with Noam Chomsky? How am I going to ever convince anybody? I feel like I lost the debate with Jovan Bradley. But I've got a lot better arguments now since that Jovan Bradley debate. And it just caught me off guard. I was sitting there playing a video game instead of being focused on the actual debate, and it didn't make me look good. Frista says, it was me. It's called argument structure. Hey, do you have me added on Discord? First Amender on Discord. 1ST Amender. Message me and say and say argument structure. I'll download it tonight, and you'll see me. I'll be reading it. Sayer says, well, if you ever want a test debater to practice, I'm here for you. I will take your challenge, and I'll do my best to be the villain. You got to actually believe in these things. Because if you don't actually believe in them, you're gonna get stomped. It's not good. But if you genuinely believe, like we disagree on something, yeah, show up on my show. I'll see you Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go on discord.gg/modern day debate, and we'll have the debate. Rain says, you debated Jovan? Yeah, I did. It was a capitalism versus socialism debate, and I think I lost. I do. I really do. If I feel like I lost the debate, I'll let you know. Even though everybody tells me I lost the Andrew Wilson debate, I don't believe I lost it. I think, like, logically speaking, my argument was there, and he couldn't address it. With Jovan, though, he sent me there was some information that, honestly, I didn't know what to do with. I also made a mistake where I was talking about trade embargoes regarding China and how China was largely left alone, and I completely neglected the fact throughout the late 70s there were embargoes on China, and I was like, wait, holy crap, I didn't know that. Let's see here. Rain says, was it just call-in or was it a debate it was a face-to-face debate. He was on his stream debating and I was on my stream debating, and we just debated one another back and forth, socialism versus capitalism. And he's pretty extreme with his positions, I think. I mean, he calls himself a communist. I just don't believe that that's the best way. I think capitalism with social safety nets is the best way. I mean, you can see that in the highest quality of living societies. And one thing that he mentioned was, well, the global south suffers because of capitalism. I'm like, fair enough. But do you really think that the global south would do better under a socialist system? I don't think so. And the reason why I know that is because the socialist countries that have more money would likely take advantage of the global south, just like they did in the USSR. It wouldn't be any different, right? I mean, it's just, the problem is that I just think that even then, people there who live in the socialist system would be poorer. They would just do worse. We could talk about the industrialization process, which, fair enough, they did great deals of improvement but that's any industrialization process. I mean, we had industrialization in the United States and it was just strictly capitalist. But I've also seen capitalism with social safety nets, which had drastically improved quality of living standards. And the countries that live the highest quality of living standards are capitalist nations with social safety nets. So I still think that capitalism is the way to go. I know, Rain, that you want the workers to own the means of production, but just think about it this way, right? I know we disagree fundamentally on this aspect, but the one thing that we can at least say is that a capitalist system with lots of social safety nets is a lot better than the current capitalist system we live under, right? And if you really want communism, really, you kind of have to take this stepping stone. So we're on the same side. Let's see here. So Fresta says, debate question for you. Do you think that after a felon has served their prison sentence, their rights to the Second Amendment should be restored? No. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Not no, not a blanket no. But I think if there's any amount of a violent felon, no, can't restore. But if it's a non-violent felony that, a gun wouldn't benefit you in your felony, I see no reason why that we couldn't go through we currently have a process where you have to request your government to get your right back to own a gun. I think I'm there with it, yeah. But I think that needs to be carefully carefully looked at, right? But from blanket, no. Base Cop Flashy says, the main position I disagree with Jovan on are prison abolition and specific trans issues. Prison abolition is especially a silly. I agree. Like, I think Jovan's a little naive there. There are people that will genuinely hurt society if they're not put in a box. And there's no amount of like, oh, if we just improve the material conditions, things get better. No, dude. There are people that just, they want harm. They want to hurt people and they enjoy harm. And it's people like that where you really, really got to consider, I don't know if that's, these people shouldn't be, like, good example of this was Ted Bundy. That dude was crazy. Not only that, he was smart, and he would trick people, like, in order for him to like further kill and harm women, both sexually as well as their lives. And that dude was already captured. He was on the third floor of a courthouse, and he was situated in a place that had some windows, and the guards, they just happened to be turned around kind of guarding this guy. He took it upon himself to break that window, jumped from a third story, and then he hobbled. He had a broken leg because he jumped from that third story, hobbled through the woods, stole a car, and then went on to kill and sexually assault many more women all the way to Florida for like 2 weeks. I think he killed like 3 or 4 women, college age. I'm like, holy crap. A guy like that, there's no amount of socioeconomic benefit. The guy likes harming people. That's what they like. A guy like that, they need to be in a box. There is no social rehabilitation for a guy like Ted Bundy. Let's see here. Presta says, in terms of hireability, then do you think that if you served your time in prison, that you should have to declare that on a job application? Presta, I can't tell you how much I am in favor of rehabilitating as many people as possible, and that includes felons. I think it is a crime that we force felons that they have to divulge that they were a felon legally. I think it's inappropriate to ask that, because if you really want people to not go through like a cyclical prison system where they just get thrown back into prison, you really need to have opportunities available for these people. And, if they serve their time, I don't think you should have to put that on a job application. The only instance where I would say you need to divulge is like, I don't know, let's say you harmed like kids. If you did that, no, I don't think you should be working at a daycare, right? But that's like saying, hey, have you ever been convicted of a sexual assault of a minor, and on the job application for, a daycare or whatever, or like taking care of kids or youth pastor, any of those things, you shouldn't be taking care of kids. Outside of that, I think that they should be rehabilitated, generally speaking. I remember when I worked at this place where I did their website. I'm not going to say what it was, because you might actually be able to figure out, because it's very specific. But I worked at a place where I did their website, and they hired a felon to do some manual labor stuff. And couldn't believe it. One of the nicest guys ever. He served his time, and he was just trying to better his life. And there he was just working. Very nice guy. I mean, maybe there's some bad in him, and I never recognized it. But it's like, you've served your time, you've done it. Like, come be rehabilitated into society. That's why you even have prisons to begin with, is We ultimately keep them out of society because they're going to hurt people, but they got to be reintegrated, right? Okay. Rain says, I'm for prison and police abolition, but abolition has a nuanced definition. Same for prisons and police. I mean, I remember I heard Jovan say that he wants, what was it? He wanted police abolition, replace the police with like peacekeepers, like community police. First of all, the police are already community based, like they live in your community. The problem is that there's not the best checks and balances of power there, which results into police that can be tyrannical. And we need to completely change our mentality regarding police. But again, now we're talking about like, what can we do to ensure that police are helping the community and not power tripping? You know, what is the training that needs to happen? Can we get people who are actually experts in law enforcement and establish like wanting to take care of the community as opposed to, you know, wanting to reach a quota or, you know, to get enough speeding violations or, you know what I mean? That's a reframing of the current police system and isn't removing police. That's where I'm at. So me and Jovan disagree on that aspect. Frista says, exactly, I think it should be a job classification dependent. Like, like if it was heavy fraud and theft, obviously I think you should have to disclose that, like at an accounting position or some sort of DBA. It could have critical access. I agree. Like one example is like I'm a systems administrator. I've got a lot of computers that I can manage. A lot. And I mean, if I was interested in cybercrime, I would be a very dangerous person, right? I would have a huge arsenal on my, in my abilities, but I would never do something that, one, I mean, it's just ethically horrendous, but I would imagine if somebody did that in the past, they probably should not be in my position at all. Frista says, my old neighbor served a 24-year prison sentence because he pushed a cop during his arrest and he tripped and hit a curb and it killed him. Jesus. Frista says, one of the nicest guys I ever met until this day. When you talk to him, he's very, very remorseful or an incredibly good actor. I mean, it would not surprise me. I'm sure he regretted that every single day of his life. Every day, I would imagine. So, yeah, somebody like that, man, we really should consider, you know, rehabilitation. Though, let's assume, right, rehabilitation happens and you get another offense. Long prison sentence, homie. Long prison sentence. That's where I'm at with that, yeah. But I'm all for the rehabilitation. I think that would reduce overall recidivism. Recidivism in the United States is horrendous. It's worse than any of these Western nations. I'm like, we're the richest nation, well, not for long. We're the richest nation in the world. Why can't we do this? Are we stupid? I think we're a little stupid. We've been getting rid of we've been making education worse and worse over decades, like from the No Child Left Behind Act to teaching by the standardized tests to, we just don't have a lot of critical thinking anymore. One thing I hated, and I guarantee you they're still doing it, is when it came to writing, they wanted you to follow, like, it was like this Oxford way of testing where they require a beginning, a body, and an end, a conclusion. If you ever, like, done any writing, like any good writing, That's not how you make stories. There's stories that have cliffhangers. There's stories that throw you right into the beginning and then midway through tells you about the beginning. And so kids get this idea that, oh, how I'm supposed to write is I'm supposed to do a beginning, a body, and a conclusion. That's terrible. And it was like this bizarre Oxford way of teaching kids how to write. And it's like, that's not how you write. Seriously, you don't write that way. Like, I can write you something fabulous. I mean, I've read to you some of my work, and it's like, I can write. And so I asked myself, I'm like, the correct way to write about something is not the beginning, body, and end. It's silly. Krista says, I also strongly believe that we have classified way too many minor things as felonies. Completely agree. Good example of this is the drug war. We have put so many people in jail over this, and we don't seem to be any closer to living drug-free. A lot of drug stuff, it comes from, trying to take the edge off of just crappy stuff that happens in life. And I think if you remove that crappy stuff, I think that's how you win the drug war. That was kind of like that one experiment they did with the rat park with the drugs. And what they did is they had like a rat just kind of alone, and they had a bottle of water that had heroin in it, and then another bottle of water that was just regular water. And every single time the rats would go over this bottle of heroin water, and then they would end up dying of an overdose. But if you create an atmosphere that's attractive to the rats, as in there were lots of female rats, for example, lots of toys, lots of places to play, not too many rats. It was just, a rat haven, if you will. They found out substantially, while there were rats that did prefer the heroin bottle, there was a lot less overdoses and a lot of rats that just preferred the regular water. I think that's how you beat the drug war. That's how you do it. Make life better for people. People don't have a need to do drugs all the time. Let's see here. First says, I also strongly believe that we have classified way too many... Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that. Joey says, would you ever do a 1v1 with Jake the Snake? 100%. 100%. It'd be a great debate. I'll debate anybody you throw at me. I don't mind. Even if I lose, let's do it. It's good for the analytics. It's good. It's just good, right? And hey, maybe, I lose the debate and then I learn something. I get a little stronger. That's what happens. When you lose a debate, you get better. You learn from your lessons, and then you move forward. You harden your where you were weak in. Rain says, I think civil engineering and planning is at the root as to why our society is messed up. A lot. I agree with you. I think there's we've created a car-centric infrastructure that has isolated a lot of people. That with we don't have any mixed-use zoning in a majority of the United States. People have to drive to go from point A to point B long periods of time. And you're just more isolated, right? There's just less social interaction that ultimately benefits everybody. I mean, it benefits people. Even introverts, once in a while, need to be around people to kind of reflect. Joey Bell says, I appreciate your willingness to debate. Appreciate that. I love debating people. I'll debate anybody, anytime. I mean, as long as it's not during my work hours, you get what I mean. I'll debate people. Maybe there will come a day where I won't need to have a regular working man's job and I could just debate people for a living. That'd be really cool. I mean, Jovan did it. I think I followed Jovan when he had, I don't know, like 1,300 subs. That dude's got like 13K now. And I mean, I remember he said that he walked away with, I think, $3,500 a month. Woo! I mean, that's not giant money, but that's enough. You know, you could make that a full-time job and probably get that to 4,000, and boom, you know, you're good to go. You could probably make it, you know, because like if you're hitting that, then guess what? You're probably going to be able to hit. You'll be able to hit higher than that. So, you know, maybe one day. Here's the thing though, right? I also think totally possible that never happens. Maybe there comes a day when I look at I just never get to be able to making enough money. Honestly, I like debating. I like it. I do. I like discussing things with people. I like challenging my epistemology. And so even if nothing comes out of it, whatever. I had fun. It's cool. You know, I don't really expect that, I'll make this a living. Joey Bell says, do you stream regularly? I do. I stream for sure, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I have like my unscheduled times where I just, like this. Sometimes I'll just game and I'll just have an open VC for anybody who wants to come in Discord. I go on discord.gg/modern day debate. I'll make a VC and just, anybody that wants to come in and have a discussion. Sometimes it's the whole room just arguing amongst themselves and I'm just playing a game. So, I also take phone calls. You'll see that phone number at the top left, at the top right hand corner. Anybody can call me. They can even *67 it, which means, they don't reveal their number. They could just call me and we'll have the discussion. Joey Bell says, I'm a right-leaning Christian fighting gamer. Maybe we can chat sometime. Joey, I would love to have you. We can have a God debate because I'm a hardcore atheist. Hardcore. And I've read the Bible, the entirety, the whole thing. I've also read the Bhagavad Gita, and I've also read the Quran, as well as some books on Islamic thought and teaching. So, I understand a little bit. I mean, I'm no theologian, but I understand a little bit. The stuff where it can get a little squirrely is when you've got like, I've noticed this specifically with Catholics, where they'll mention something that I'm just like, this is not in the Bible. This is just not in the Bible. I'm like, they're like bringing up something from, the Catholic Church. And I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. It's where you start talking about like the Great Schism, and like if you're Eastern Orthodox versus Western Orthodox, and like, I don't know, it just, some of the arguments are kind of, some of the stuff that I would be very well prepared for would be like if you argued presuppositionalism. I have a very strong defeater for a presup argument. Joey Ball says, read the Talmud. I should. Not a bad idea. But I got to read that book that was just arguing something. Please tell me, Fristes, please, can you just DM me so I remember it? Because I will, I swear. If you DM me, I will grab that, because right now I just finished, I finished a book regarding Donald Trump. So I'm going to go on to another book. And I was like, what was that book that was recommended to me? And I'm horrible with names, so you have to help me out. I'm so sorry, but I will read it. Joey says, yeah, Catholics are interesting for sure. Like, Some of the stuff they say, I'm just like, bro, what is happening right now? I don't even know. Like this is, this is, what would I even read? Like, let's say if I wanted to understand like Catholic theology, what would I even read? Because like the Bible is no help. It's not. I mean, I read it. It's a lot of stuff that's said in Catholic literature is not presented in the Bible. It's very bizarre. They grab all sorts of weird topics. It reminds me of this. If you ever heard Dark Matter 2525 animation of like, they were poking fun at the idea that God speaks to everybody. And there was like a bunch of two conquistadors that talked to two natives of the New World. And the natives were like, what do you mean? Like my friend here, Saul, could use a Bible. Like, obviously, Saul, that's a biblical name, right? And he's like, yeah, we know the Bible, Peter, Isaac, Joseph, and the whole 9 yards. Now what? And they're like, how do you know about the Bible if no one was there to tell you about the Bible? And the natives started laughing in this skit, saying, do you not talk to God? And they're like, yeah, of course we talk to God. What are you doing? And the natives are like, well, we talked to God and he told us the revelation. Obviously, it's a trick in the fact that it's humans that you need to spread the ideas of God. But then the conquistadors started talking about the Pope will be pleased to know that the natives here understand God, and then they were like, Pope? And it was like, yeah, the Catholic Pope. He's like, Catholic. What are you talking about? We don't know what that is. And then they were like, could I please get some blankets, please? Thank you. Like to say that they're going to kill all of the natives because they didn't believe in the Pope. But it's true. I mean, in the Bible, it doesn't really have anything regarding a Pope. I mean, you could probably, there's like I get the Catholics, they point out a specific gospel and they're like, this was the first Pope. But it doesn't really indicate that there should be like a Pope and like all of these bishops and this giant system that it's not there in the Bible. And it's like literally just made up by people. Joey Bale says, I'm Eastern Orthodox because of church history. Read about the schism and you'll know Catholics better. I will. Good idea. First test is argument structure. I'll get it. Like I said, I would get it right now. But if I like close out of this and like open up Audible, it's just going to cancel it. So again, just DM me, send it somewhere. Send it to my YouTube, send it somewhere. And I will get it and read it. Even if it's not like an Audible subscription, like if it's not in Audible, I'll buy the book and I'll just read it. First test says, if you could be given unilateral authority for exactly 24 hours and you could rewrite any one law that applied nationwide and it could never be altered or overwritten or reversed in any manner, would you do it? Oh, yeah. But what would I do? You know what? I would make the Pell Grant available for everyone that makes less than, where their family has a less than net worth of $1 million. Anybody who has a family net worth less than $1 million can get the Pell Grant entirely. And the rules of the Pell Grant follow. As in, if they drop out at any point, they owe that money back. But if they graduate, they owe nothing. I think that would benefit the United States so much. And it pisses me off. It really does. It makes me angry to know that this possibility is there, that it exists. The fact that we could get people more educated, and if they got more educated, we could build industries. We could build technology that is otherwise not known. And Einstein got a good education. But one thing that just, I swear, it'll keep me up at night thinking about it. I'm like, there has to be somewhere out there an Einstein that never got a fair shot. And they're just like a janitor, or like a dishwasher, or like a restaurant attendant somewhere. Like, how do we know that? I mean, Einstein, he managed to, he showed a lot of, he was very good education wise. But like me, like, take for example, like, I mean, I'm not anywhere close to as smart as Einstein or all sorts of other people. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I got an opportunity because I got the Pell Grant. My parents put away no money to college, none, $0. I could have easily have gone trade school route, and likely my political opinions would be very, very different and far less educated as a result. And that's just like, I didn't do good in high school. I was more focused on drawing than I was focused on actually learning. And so I just had bad grades. But it wasn't because I was stupid. It was just like, I didn't like people telling me what to do. That's all it was. Like, I was like, I want to do what I want to do. And even get bad grades. It didn't matter to me. And it's like, how many people are there that are like really, really smart that just, I don't know, let's say they just showed as being like a D or C student throughout high school. They were just immature or whatever. Didn't think about like what would be the future. I remember when I was really, really young. I was so young, just started high school. And I said to myself, I was like, this is where it counts. This is where things matter. This is where, if I do good here, I'll get into a really good college and it'll be great. And I studied, and I did my homework, and I was like, I'm going to do good. And this one science teacher, I studied for this one test. I took the test and I got a C. And I thought to myself, I was like, I studied. I put my real effort into it and I got a C. I did awful. And I was like, what's the point? I study that hard just so I could get a C? And I was like, forget it. What a waste of time. Why even spend all that time trying to learn and do all that crap if all I get is a stupid C? And from then on, man, D's and F's and C's, and the only classes I would get A's in was classes I was interested in. The computer classes, I killed them. A's, A, because I loved computers. Computers are super fun for me. But all sorts of other education, I was in remedial classes and all sorts of terrible, just awful classes. And they're not nice to you in those remedial classes. They're mean. If you don't do good in a remedial class, bro, they were really, really mean. This was throughout high school that I went through this, as well middle school. God. I got lucky in the fact that I managed to pass with a high school diploma. And then after that, I went to college, got great, very good grades. I think, I was a B student. I wasn't straight A. I was B, I did B's and A's and occasionally a C here or there, but I did good. Okay. Joey Bell says, what pope was considered a heresy? Ooh, good question. What was that one pope's name that that killed a bunch of people for like not believing? And didn't they also like push for like a crusade? That one, that's a heresy. Yeah, that's a heretical pope. Bad one. Bad mark on the Catholic Church. Rain says that's a marker of autism. I've taken tests for like, hey, do you have autism? And I don't have autism. I really don't. I really don't. I'd own it if I had it, but I just don't. Do I think weird? Yeah, I do. Do I think differently from a lot of people? Yeah. But no, autism, I do not have autism. Joy Bell says, no, I mean the idea of the Pope was considered a heresy according to the Eastern Orthodox. See, now you're going to make me dig in the back of my brain. I'm trying to think. Send me a donut if I get it right. I'm trying to think. What was the Great Schism? I'm trying to remember the exact... What was it that caused the split of the church? I can't do it. I'm so sorry. I gotta look it up. You're right, Joey. I could educate myself on the Catholic Church and the Great Schism and the Eastern Orthodox. I'll admit when I'm lacking. I'll give you that. Anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. As soon as I get off the stream, I'm going to grab that audiobook that Fristas is recommending. And I'm also going to edit a quick short regarding this particular discussion and Alex Stein. I'm gonna mush these shorts together, and I'm gonna send them this short. I'm gonna do it now, right now. It's gonna be really funny, guys. Anyway, I thank you all very much, but I will see you very shortly. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and my show is on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm thinking of changing the name of it from The Sensible Argument to Debate a Liberal. I just think it's a better, it hits harder and it's a lot less, formal. My discussions aren't the most formal, so I think calling it The Sensible Argument maybe is a little too formal. We got to lower down the formality a little bit, just make it Debate a Liberal, and just, that's the show. The show is Debate a Liberal. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, I appreciate y'all very much, and I will see you soon. So subscribe for more.